Sweet distraction.
Yeah, this is on now.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad all of you are here this morning. Thank you for coming. I know that it was a little bit extra chaos this morning without power for some of us. My kids don't have school, all kinds of odds and ends that are different this morning. How comfortable are you with change? It happens all the time, right? Change is the only constant. So, welcome. I want you to just take a breath, take a stretch, whatever it takes for you to be in this space, being present. Definitely put your feet on the floor and we'll do a good deep breath. Grounding breath into our core. It's amazing how that works. So first, to begin, I'd like you to take in this poem. It was on Emma's slide the other day, and we're going to use it as our focusing, our coming to presence this morning. Here it is. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I'll tell you about mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Announcing your place in the family of things. So we have a BiSci student, BiSci TA, that is going to just give a quick infomercial about Swapify.
Hello, my friends. I'm usually not in this room, so it's literally like so cute to be here because I usually have international business, and that is not as cute or fun of a scene as you can imagine. So, BiSci has really meant a lot to me in challenging beliefs and also really just inspiring me to make a bigger impact on this world as I live in it during my lifetime. So in doing that, I wanted to do something to combine my loves of fashion and sustainability. And for me, as someone who's been in like the secondhand world as a seller for over 10 years, I noticed that there was a lack of swapping that was made available as a means to sustainable and affordable fashion. So I wanted to be that change, and this is part of my hero's journey. So I wanted to tell you guys about my app as it's launching soon. So I want you guys to remember to follow the Instagram because I'll be posting when we launch, but we're going to be a buy, sell, and swapping app. taking over the market soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. But this is just my way of combining my passions with something that I really hope can make a change, because right now the fashion industry is really detrimental to the Earth's health. If you guys don't know, 10% of carbon emissions come from the fashion industry. And if we don't do anything by 2030, this will go up by 50% to 15%, which surpasses the amount of carbon emissions by international flights and maritime shipping combined. So to put that into perspective, like, this is a massive problem. So I'm just one person, and this is my hero's journey in trying to help solve this climate crisis. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna unfortunately have to run to class, but I want to shout out my awesome TA group right there. Do you guys want to wave? Thank you guys, and thank you so much for having me here today. It means a lot.
Thanks, Sammy. All right. So she's chosen to act. Why choose to act, right? Why choose to act? That's been the course of this course, right? So at the beginning, we learned we are each part of the universe. We are each part of Earth, and Earth has birthed us into this amazing place, right? We are made from all the same stuff. Earth feeds us and waters us, shelters us, and we have this in common with all other living beings, plants and animals. We challenged ourselves at that time to see the world with new eyes, the eyes of wonder and humility and gratitude and connection. And so when I came across this image, this is the landscape of mountains and valleys speckled with glittering stars, and is actually the edge of a nearby young forming star region called NGC 3324 in the Carina Nebula. So this is a place in space, right? This is a real place. Incredible. And we are part of that. Captured by infrared light shows up this incredible formation, right? So being part of this universe, being part of this earth, is part one of the course. Part two, we went to this place, this dark and dreary place in some cases, this world of wounds, where we talked about don't look away, right? Because our emotions are really important. Our emotions are here for a reason, and they bring us to action. And so that was the world of part two. Part three, picture of what does sustainability really mean? We can't sustain what we're doing right now. That's not sustainable. So what is a place that is sustainable in our daily lives? How are we to sustain our own energy and goodness? How are we going to do that for the earth and support and understanding that we have creativity and we have possibility and we have the power of choice and we have hope and freedom. And so I'm curious about this. What have you come to understand as ecological consciousness? So I'd like you to talk to your neighbor. Think about it. Talk to your neighbor. What is ecological consciousness? Please exchange this one for another one. It's always kind of a crapshoot. This one is on when I stand up and off when I sit down,
Okay.
and clicking in between.
Let's see if this one works.
Thank you. Oh, I don't need a mic, just a,
Oh,
yeah, just a hearing thing.
I got it.
Thank you. It's okay. Yes, thank you. I want to hear what these beautiful people have to say. So far, so good. It came on.
Here.
Oh, can you give it to Zach? Thank you. I imagine he'll see her. Just a wild guess. You can flash those lights. Good. Thank you. What do you think? What have you come to understand as ecological consciousness? The microphones are ready for you.
For me, I think the most dangerous way of thinking and the biggest problem right now for the decline of the environment is the fact that like everybody thinks that they won't have an effect on it. So, it doesn't matter what I do, so I can continue these practices that are, harming the earth, but it won't matter if I don't because the earth's gonna continue being harmed anyway. But the problem is when everybody thinks that we do all actually have an effect on the environment, it's just a negative one because nobody's doing anything. It's like that one week we talked about, human apathy and how that's like what the real problem is. So if everybody does their own thing, and I think the consciousness part is just taking into consideration, how your everyday actions are actually affecting the earth. And if everybody takes it upon themselves to be responsible and do the right thing, then they can trust that the larger society will do that. And instead of it like nobody caring and the earth continuing to decline, everybody will care, and the earth will get better.
Mhm. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak to your understanding of ecological consciousness? All right, then we'll move on to this question then. So ecological consciousness was the title of the book, but then the subtitle of the book is Becoming Fully Human. So thinking about that, what do you think about that? What does that mean, becoming fully human? Talk to your neighbor about this. Go. What does it mean to be fully human? Who would like to speak to this?
Hi, I was just gonna say, I think that the closest thing that I found to like coming to understand about being more human is just like doing the things that make you feel alive, like we talked about, and kind of having those as a priority, like whatever things you're passionate about and things that make you feel like you're really living life. I feel like just focusing on those and being aware that those are a part of our lives is important.
Thank you, Sawyer. Yeah. Right beside you, Allie, there's someone else. Thank you.
I feel like you could think of this in a way where it's like if you're not fully aware of like your actions and the consequences that those come with, then are you really living because you're missing out on a part of life, I guess. So becoming fully like human is like being aware of everything in life, I would say.
Being aware of everything in life.
I think I think part of this is saying not that we're not fully human, but that the way we're living now and like the realities of our life and kind of the way it distracts us has separated us from some parts of our identity as humans. Like, for example, nature is just like our entire history as a species was in nature. And like my attendance question today from my awesome TA Ashlyn was like, what's your favorite thing about like what was your favorite memory from this class? And mine was the reflection actions assignment we did where we were staring up at the sky and at the stars. And I feel like that's an experience that's so human and like so natural to us. But because of the way we live now, like we just never experience that anymore. So I think it's about like reconnecting with that and getting in touch with that humanity.
Thank you. Well said. Thank you.
I say for me, becoming human is by accepting who I am truly, whether it is the beautiful part of me, the raw or vulnerable or ugly. It's accepting myself for my humanity as its whole and accepting the world's humanity, whether, again, if the beautiful scenes of like the sky or the ocean or the realist of fears, which is the forests and the like the oceans and self-pollution and pollution. It's by seeing and understanding that and accepting it and doing what you can to feel fulfilled in the moment.
Beautiful. Thank you. So good. So good. So the idea that all of those things take using all of our equipment, right? Our head, our hearts, and our guts, being able to fully bring ourselves, and the idea that we have choice, right? We have choice to love, we have choice to accept, we have choice to be, and how beautiful all of those things are. And so why I teach BiSci is because of the light and the potential and the warmth and the excitement and the brightness that all of you bring, right? That in some way has been tucked away often. And so being able to bring those things together, some of you at the retreat asked me why I teach this class. I was teaching environmental ed before this, and it was not, I thought that was my thing. I thought that was my path. And it became clear that it wasn't, that there was something missing for me, that connecting people to themselves first before connecting to nature is really essential so that we can appreciate and see and feel who we are and then build those connections with other people, with other places, with outside, with the stars. It's just so lovely. And so the reason that I do it is because there is huge, huge power and possibility in this room right now. All of us together in this community, it's powerful. And that's why I do this, is because I feel it, right? I feel it with all of my equipment, that that's essential to what the world needs right now. So what is going to happen for you, for us, for humanity after you go out of these doors today, right? You get to hang out with your lab on Friday, which is exciting, and show your ecological identity projects, what I get so excited about. And then what are you going to do after BiSci is over? Are you going to go back to what you were doing before? Are you going to recycle and console yourself and say that's pretty good? Recycling's good, but it's helpful, but sort of, it's important to do it, but it's sort of a small thing in the options that you're given. And so I want to hear what you in your beautiful groups did for making change in the world. What did you do in your groups? So I want to hear from the groups. Each group has a representative, right? So we're going to pass around the microphone from group to group. And start. Will you just flash those? We have to go. So very concisely, I want to hear what your group did for your project, for your action assignment, and what the results were. So each group should have a spokesperson, and we need to go relatively quickly with this, so that all the groups get to say something, and then I get just a little bit of wrap-up time. So, will you stand up with the mic and start over here? Okay. All right, a TA raised their hand to start. Okay, Miracle, go.
Should I stand up?
You can if you want, but you don't have to.
Fine.
Okay, great.
So past couple weeks since it's been nice, our lab group has done lab outside. Last week it was pretty fun. Went to Dunkin' Donuts after lab, everything, had some donuts. That was cool. But I would say the impact of that, going into Friday with kind of like a good mood, good morale, getting some fresh air. But I would say the biggest impact to me is having the pleasure to TA all these fantastic individuals. I graduate in like a week, so it's kind of ironic because when I came into this class, I thought I'd be giving them a lot of knowledge and some game on just like life. But I mean, you guys have taught me so much about myself and about what BiSci really is about. And the future is so bright for all of you guys. So I want you guys to continue to shine through your last 4 years coming here and into the future. And you guys are so bright. So thank you for that. For the best lab group, some snaps.
Sweet.
Go ahead. Should we say what?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm in Emma's lab group, and for us, we decided to limit our screen time. I feel like we all were like noticing how often we're like constantly checking our phones and like just have the sudden urge to like feel it in our pocket or anything like that.
Mhm.
So for the last few weeks, we've been like every Sunday sending in our stream times, and as we've noticed, each week it's gotten lower with like at first it was like a mental thing, like I had to like actually think about like not going on my phone to like lower it. And then it just kind of became like a subconscious thing. Like each week it was going down. I wasn't even realizing it like that I was doing it. And for us, we talked a lot about how like at first like actively thinking about it, we'd like go out and like go for a walk to get our mind off of it or like just do something with friends. But then we realized like we were doing this stuff and it just became more natural. So we were getting more in touch with nature and with our friends. And it was like really important to all of us. And it made us feel like a lot better about ourselves.
Beautiful. Your crew is nodding behind you, which is really sweet. Lots of support. Okay.
I'm in Allie's group, and we decided for our project to just pick up trash, which is kind of simple, but we found very effective. when we were talking in our lab, we realized, like, obviously being in a college town, how much trash there is everywhere downtown, outside the dorms. Especially as it's getting nicer out, people are outside more. So we all decided to try to pick up at least like 10 pieces of trash a day. We would send it in, and just we found that it connected us so much more with the world around us and how much we need to appreciate it. Because I feel like before, at least I'll speak for myself, you're not conscious of what you're doing and how it may affect everyone else in the world around you. So by doing this, you become more aware and more guilty of what you're doing and conscious of what you're doing in the world.
Thank you. What a beautiful project. Cool. Love them. Yes.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Hannah.
So my group decided that we were going to do a little bit different because we couldn't decide on like one thing that we each felt like we needed to work on. We had talked about doing like plastic water bottles or things like that, but some people like do use plastic water bottles, others don't. So we decided on trying to consciously cut out single-use plastics. And whether that's using reusable grocery bags, eating at the dining hall, not taking stuff like away, using a reusable water bottle. And we just kind of kept track of that like within ourselves. And yeah, just the impact of knowing like you're doing something good and you're actively in your mind thinking about what you're doing is what we all really took away from this, and not just going and grabbing the easiest option, but actively thinking about what you're doing and why you're doing that.
Sweet. Love it.
So yeah, our group also did just making a conscious decision to go outside and be outside as much as possible. This definitely stemmed from me being locked in my own house, working or doing other stuff a lot. So I remember mentioning this because I don't use plastics at all, like plastic water bottles or any of that stuff. I always use reusable stuff. So for me, like it kind of was selfish pitching it to them, saying like I want to be outside more because I need to be. And what we did was we did just a photo circle, taking pictures outside. It was originally the goal to do it every day. However, it does not work out sometimes. So like there was definitely days where a lot of us did not post. But I think that for all of us as a group, it was definitely useful for me specifically because I mean, working and doing all this other stuff, I lock myself up in my room and I just want to get stuff done. I mean, there's weeks as an intern working 40 hours a week and not seeing the sun. Like it sucks. So for me to like make a conscious decision to go outside, it was definitely refreshing. And like seeing even like people out on the hub the past couple of days or stuff like that was really nice and refreshing for me. I mean, besides the fact for half of downtown not having power, I think that it's definitely just good to go outside on it. This is an excuse to go outside. I mean, people were mobbing downtown last night because there was no power, just hanging out with people. I thought that that was awesome. And after the rain stopped and everything, my roommates and I, we just sat on our porch and talked. So
Sweet.
my sister came over because she had no hot water, took a shower at my place, like got to hang out with my sister and her boyfriend. So I think that being able to go outside also limits our own screen time, which I've seen a cut. However, my screen time's still pretty high. I won't lie about that. So I think that it was very useful and nice to be able just to refresh ourselves a little bit more.
Beautiful. Thank you.
For our class, for our group, we decided to embrace the outside of walking and enjoying the scenery. We were very open to that idea. And once we came back, we were able to expand on it. Sadly, we had a moment where the group shifted due to losing someone. But I wanted to touch on the fact that we were very open within this group from the moment we started to the moment that we ended. We embraced each other with respect and wish to actually get to know each other through this group. I personally learned so much about my lab mates, and they've helped me through probably one of the best semesters that I've had. And I feel like we're going to be a really strong group for a bit. So
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah.
Our group decided to recycle 2 pieces of plastic a day. We found that recycles end up in the trash a lot, and obviously through this class we learned how terrible of a problem it was. We probably all did up to 50 plus pieces since we started. and we hope that this helped the world and we made a small impact. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Keep going. Love it.
I'm in Jenna's TA group. We also decided to do single-use plastics. Because we all kind of realized it was just something we would always reach for, like plastic forks, or whenever, we go to get coffee, it's always like in a plastic or paper cup that we would just throw away. So what we did is just in general got rid of using single-use plastics, and then every time we would, have a success in that, we would send it in our group me, and that way it was a really big motivator because none of us felt like we were doing it alone. It felt like it was a group effort, and it felt like, we were actually making a difference when we were doing it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wait, can I add something? I just wanted to say, like, I'm also in that group. Whenever people would send it, it would like make my day, like a picture of it, because they would say something stupid or silly with it, and I loved it. I don't know. It just made me smile.
Thanks for adding that.
Our group decided that similar to like the cutting out like single use like plastics or recycling them, we decided to switch to reusable like water bottles instead of buying plastic water bottles. And I think what we all learned from that was that, it feels good knowing that you're not putting out as much like plastic into like the world. And then we would talk about it each lab and about the things that we realized, and it sort of made us more conscious whenever we were buying things that did have plastic in them, and sort of thinking about like, whenever you like go to Starbucks or something and you get like a plastic cup, the sort of impact that that has. So making that switch, and it also being a relatively easy switch to make, it's really not that hard, and it ultimately saves money. So I think that was something that we like all learned.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so my group decided to do, I think it's Project Pan, but I'm not sure if this isn't the entirety of it. But basically, we're trying to finish our products that we have before buying new ones, like finish them entirely. So some things I'd like to share about what my lab group wrote in their attendance today about it, so they can each have a voice of their own while I'm still speaking, is that some said, I loved it. It challenged me to use what I have. I really liked it. It also kept me from spending money. Yeah, I liked it. It made me feel better about myself. And then once again, it helped with spending habits. So I think one thing that was really important was some self-gain through this, because I don't think a lot of people can do something without a little bit of self-gain, whether that's feeling better about yourself as a whole or something like that. So I think that this also had like a self-gain factor that helped us keep to it.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you. And that's a cool project. Yeah.
Hello? Okay. So for our group, we decided to like look at what we eat. And well, at first our main goal was to reduce the harm with what we eat. So obviously the main goal is like vegan, but that's way harder than it seems. So in my mind, the way I contributed to it is I would look at how like things and how they're made. So like I would want a coffee and I would look at it and I'd go, this industry is not as ethical as it seems. Like so many people die every year making like this, and animals are harmed in this way. So I would go and fill up my water bottle at like the sink, and just thinking of what we consume in that way, it really it grounds you in a way in earth, and like what how many things you look at and just the systems behind it and everything behind it and how much harm things can cause, and just being knowledgeable about all that.
Thank you. Well said. Cool project. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So our group, at first we were thinking one or the other, but then we came up with a idea of a way to cut out screen time whilst also being outside more. So for our screen time, we replaced it with being outside. So like instead of like constantly listening to music, we would choose to listen to like the sound of the birds, the sound of like a nearby creek, and like just use that for like anything we needed. If we wanted to study and have like something playing in the background, one of my students like messaged in the group me that they just opened their window and just listened to like the birds outside. And for like entertainment, instead of using our phones, we would send in the group me's different activities that are going around campus or like downtown, and we would like go to that instead of being on our phones. And when we were there, we would choose to keep our phones like on us and not like in our hands.
Mhm.
So
Weaving all sorts of things together. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, over here.
Sorry. Gotcha.
Hi, I'm in Mariela's group. For ours, we chose to make an effort to consciously choose to walk rather than to buy an Uber or Lyft or get on the public transportation we have. Um, for a lot of us, I think it was probably harder towards the beginning, which kind of can make it a little bit unmotivating because usually like you want something to start out a little easy, but this was like when it was colder, it was a lot more difficult to want to take want to take that walk instead of take the bus, even if you're going one stop. But I think it for me it also like dually helped like just getting outside more, especially when it was colder, because it's good to get fresh air. It's good to be outside and breathe. Like take some deep breaths as you walk. Even if you're watching your breath in the air, it's like nice to see what there is going around. And it's just I like to people watch, so like walking was also like a better way to like get more of that in. I don't know. But yeah.
It's great. Thank you. Love it. Yeah.
So for our like TA group, our TA is that what we did was basically cut out plastic bags and like we used reusable bags instead, like from just like we bought them and like we just had them at home. And it was honestly like pretty easy. I mean, like we just kind of use Target bags and then we like never think of them and like we throw them away. But using reusable bags, it's like better for the environment, but it's also it's like nothing falls out. Like we don't have to worry about the bag tearing or like not even using it again. So yeah, that was what we did for ours. And then we just wanted to say thanks to Zach because we wouldn't want any other TA.
Hey. So for our lab group, we decided to send in our group chat every time we refilled our like metal water bottles in the water bottle filler instead of getting like a plastic water bottle. So yeah, we would try to keep track of that and send that in every single time. And everyone would always like respond in the group chat after everyone did it, like it or say, "Oh, you did a good job," or it would start conversations sometimes too. So yeah.
Sweet.
So our group also did the single-use plastics, and then we like kind of took account of how much we used. And it was really eye-opening because I know for like a lot of us, we would only use like 5 pieces of plastic in a week, but then we'd total it all up and it would be like over 100, and it would be like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. So just kind of being aware of the plastics that we're using, and I think we're all gonna take this and keep doing it outside of BSI and like continue doing it because we now know how much of an impact it really makes.
Beautiful. It does. It just matters, right? It's great.
Hi, sorry, I'm over here on this side.
Oh, hi.
Hey. So our lab group decided to collect cans around downtown or the dorms or even our own usage and intentionally recycle them. And we collected over 140 cans this semester, which was really cool. But it kind of just showed us that we can actively make our world a better place, like especially here at Penn State.
Yeah. Thank you. Actively make the world a better place. Yes.
Hi, I'm in Morgan's lab group, and we had 2 goals. The first goal was to not use like plastic bottles and cups, and the other one was to go outside more. And I felt like going outside more was kind of an easy goal for all of us, especially since it was getting nicer outside. But with like plastic bottles and cups, personally, like I never use plastic bottles, but like cups was something I didn't really think of, especially like if I go to Starbucks or I go to the Edge, like I feel like that was something we never really accounted for when it comes to plastic usage. So it just kind of opened our eyes to how much plastic we're using and how we can try to avoid that.
Thank you. Well done.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I'm
Good to
over
meet you.
here.
Sorry, where?
Right here.
Okay, great. Thanks. Sorry, Liz.
My group decided to do Project Pan for overconsumption and basing our happiness off buying products. And I'm gonna steal Allie's idea and make I had each of my students write down how they felt about it, so I'm going to read it. They they felt like not replacing products forced them to regularly wear less and less makeup and feel more comfortable. It made me spend less money and make use of the products I already had. It made me realize that I don't need the new products that are promoted and that I want to use what I already have. I liked it and thought that it was useful. It helped me distinguish my wants from my needs. It also showed me I don't need to always buy the trendy products. It made me realize that I waste so much product and that I am really, really a consumerist. It forced me to really use my products and help me save money by not impulse buying. From my students' journals, I'm so proud of them, and I know they base their happiness off consuming a lot, and I'm so proud of them for making the change. And it's just a really powerful feeling knowing that they took this on, and I'm so proud of them.
Sweet. Love it.
Hi. So I'm in Paris's group, and our group decided to do like spending more time outside, like a few groups were saying. So for us, like we tried to like be more aware of the time that we were spending outside and just like even if it was like we were going on a walk back from class or something, to like stop and think about that and then also just like take a picture, be more aware of the fact that you're outside because one thing that we were talking about is how like during the winter, like we take for granted how like little time that we spend outside because we're like rushing to and from class because it's so cold outside. So like as the winter like goes away and it gets more warm to like be more aware of it so you're like more grateful for it.
Connecting to gratitude. Love it. Yes.
So my group, we decided that we struggled a lot with water bottles, and I knew I do especially as well. Um, and we were thinking first to do like tally marks every time we did use a plastic water bottle, but that kind of felt a lot. Like it was like less encouraging. So we also did the idea of sending in pictures every time we actively decided to refill our water bottle instead of buying a plastic one because it was more convenient. And it was really fun. It was really encouraging, and it was fun to see everybody actively making that decision.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hi, Jen.
Hi there.
Our group is Sarah's, and we decided to just spend more time outside. And we totaled up in the group chat around 216 hours. And that's not including all of the times that we just went outside on our own time just to enjoy the weather. And people were like going on walks more, going on jogs, playing sports outside, doing homework outside, reading outside. And we found it to be like very freeing and to get like more fresh air instead of just sitting in our rooms or sitting in the same spot every day. And we definitely went outside more, saw more people, kind of, interacted with people when we wouldn't have if we'd have stayed inside. So I think that was a pretty good experience.
Love it. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
So my group focused on consciously eating more whole foods rather than processed foods. And a lot of my group lives in the dorms and like with the dining hall. And they said it was a little difficult in the beginning to kind of focus on the whole foods rather than the processed ones. But once we really made the effort to do so, we found like a really big effect on how our bodies felt and also environmentally, like not using all of those processed foods and really focusing on what's actually good for our body. So yeah.
Sweet. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi. So for our thing, we decided to cut out like plastic straws. Instead, we'd use like metal straws or just no straw at all. And we would send like pictures to our group chat if we got like Starbucks or Dunkin', like there's no straw in there, anything like that. And I feel like sometimes we don't realize like how impactful such a small piece of plastic can be to like harmful to the earth. And so I thought it was really interesting to see how like we all came together and were able to just like cut out so much plastic in such a small amount of time.
Perfect. Love it. And so what I'm hearing from all of these that's so beautiful is that you've taken an action and that you have found connection with other people in doing so, right? You found connection with your group in the way that you shared the news about things. You spent time, if you were off your phone or outside, spending time finding other people. And so it's so striking to me how positive these changes can be, and how they lead to consequences. Consequences sometimes has a negative connotation, but in this case, the consequences were more connection, right? And so I love your stories, and I'm so grateful that you took this project seriously and did something that really made a difference for you, for your community, and for the earth. It's that green triangle, right? It's connecting all of the places and people. So I just want to say that in the world news, we often read just about the bad stuff. Except look what happens when we bring the good stuff forward, right? We talked about this pando, about this grove of trees that's all connected. And that's how we need to be, right? We need to think about ourselves as connected. What are the facts? What are the things that we can do to make a difference? And so for the state of the environment and the climate, face your grief, but have a vision of the future. So that's the first. Defend the truth. These are things that we all can do. See yourself as a citizen and not a consumer. Engage in politics, act out, bring the people forward that have the same values that you do, that you're excited about. Be your authentic self. And honor the relationships with yourself, others, and the natural world, right? These are ways that we can be more fully human, that we can be bringing about our ecological consciousness in our day-to-day life. My favorite quote of the semester: don't ask yourself what the world needs, ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So I hope that you hold on to your journal. This is a really important time of your life where your brain is building and making connections almost as fast as it was before you went to preschool, right? Like, you are making connections and synapses now that are going to last you for the rest of your life. So it's your journal is like a souvenir of this time where you can look back and see who you were at this age, even 5 years. Sometimes even TAs just say, I read what I wrote last year and I am such a different person. I've grown in these beautiful ways. So asking yourself what you need and who you are as you move forward. I want to say thank you as my last piece. Thank you to all of you. If you've experienced some kind of change, that's because you've chosen it. That's because you have taken the power and responsibility and made the choice to make change. So thank you. Thank you to the beautiful TAs and the LCs that make this possible. I would not do this without them. Thank you to Chris Yule, who made this class, started this class this way. And then I just want to acknowledge that it hasn't always been easy. And yet, as we move forward, I'm going to need you to help me skip this slide. Oh, thank you. So we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey guy, says this: accept the life that is waiting for us and We are the ones we've been waiting for. And with that, I send you out into the world. Be well and do good work.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Jen. Heck yeah. Hi. You're just super early. I know. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, did I go 15 minutes over?
I know. Who are you?